Buzzwords. Buzzword. Let's start with this, okay? Let's start with this. And get this up. Alright, here we go. Buzzwords.
Nun gilt es, das deutsche Volk zu wählen. Ich weiß, meine Kameraden, es ist euch wohl noch schwer gefallen, wenn ihr meint, es müsse ohne Wandel kommen und der Kram nicht und immer wieder muss der Leute abgerichtet werden. Es muss weiter gekämpft werden, es geht nicht. Ihr dürft nicht handeln, ihr müsst folgen, ihr müsst euch fügen.
Okay, that's a clip from Hitler's speeches. In fact, if you go to JW stuff, you get Rutherford's speeches in the same spiel. That's a German word, spiel. You will find that Rutherford did this: advertise, advertise, advertise the king and his kingdom. Very similar. Buzzwords. If you look carefully at the New World Translation, they have terms like this: the mental regulating of Jehovah. What other translations say about the love of the Father? Mental regulating. Sieg Heil, Sieg Heil. What's the difference between Hitler and the governing body? This one fact: the governing body is more religious. In my previous video I mentioned about how they changed Micah 6 verse 8. In Micah 6 verse 8, the original JW Bible said this: He has told you, earthling man, what is good for you. And what is God asking back from you but to love, justice, and kindness, and be modest with your God. They corrupted that verse in Micah 6 verse 83, from loving kindness to cherish loyalty. From loving kindness, which goes out to all mankind, like Good Samaritan, remember that? To cherishing loyalty. It's all Borg words. Sieg Heil, the Führer. The governing body are no different to Hitler and his regime. Because Hitler made conventions, didn't he? Rallies, conventions, JWs. This propaganda. You know, JW, Psalm 146 verse 3 says, don't put your trust in earthly man or princes, to whom no salvation belongs. And yet you believe that 8 men, was it 7 now probably, in New York, control the world of mankind, and their salvation lies in these dudes who don't work for a living like the Apostle Paul did, made tents and that, excuse me. These dudes in New York are your mediator. What? As Rome in France revealed, these pricks, called the governing body, which is not a biblical term, spent most of their time debating what is a disfellowshipping issue, what qualifies disfellowshipping. They weren't discussing scripture. It's a political Illuminati Jesuit Freemasonry control religion. Right? And you say, well, it must be the truth because they produce all these magazines every week. So did Hitler. So did Hitler. How do you think on earth you got a whole nation succumbed into his euphoric propaganda through his big mouth? Rutherford, you won't know this, JW, but Rutherford tried to get in bed with Hitler. He wrote Hitler a letter saying, I don't like the Jews either. Oh yeah, well done Hitler, I don't like the Jews either, you know. And Rutherford infiltrated Germany with anti-Jew propaganda, and that's why many JWs went to the gas chambers through Rutherford. Did you know that? No, you don't. Because you live in a mouse cell, JWs, where you get your Watch and Awake magazines, not so often as you used to do. And you've got these 7 pricks in New York controlling you. The Messiah said, come to me. Come to me. Not an organisation. Come to me. He said, when you pray, don't be like the hypocrites and go in the broad ways and make big press. Go into your private room and pray. Then your Father, who looks on in secret, will hear you. Think about it carefully, JWs. The prophets of old were no part of any organisation. They stood against it. The apostles were no part of the Jewish organisation. They stood against it. Yet you've been brought into the idea you have to belong to a man-made organisation. The Bible is the most dangerous book in the world in the wrong hands, as is actually food books, if you think about it. I could expound on this, but that's another video. In the wrong hands is dangerous. No wonder Revelation, he speaks about chapter 18. They will make merchandise of human souls. John 10, the sheep stealers who don't come through the door. In fact, the JW governing bodies say they are the door. They are your mediator. Bollocks. Wake up.